Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Lou's Boomer Humor. Today we got kind of a different type of thing for you today. It's going to be more of a helpful type of thing, and I'll explain why I've got this thing sitting up here. This is called Boomer Part-Time Jobs. Now let me tell you how this kind of evolved. I've got a friend, Mark Gary. I'll go ahead and name him because I've known the guy for 50 years and, I got too much on him for him to sue me. So, anyway, he's he's retired from broadcasting. He was in radio broadcasting predominantly, but broadcasting in general. And he still gets journals and different types of literature that have to do with the industry. And he sent me this one article from one of the journals that he has. Okay, Eddie, go ahead. She's got something else to do now. And I'll read just a portion of it. WCIU, that's a local station here in Chicago, drops You and Me morning hosts. Now that's these two ladies here, Jean and Melissa. This is a show that's been on for quite a few years. WCIU drops You and Me, that's the name of the show, morning host. New show planned. Steve Farber, Senior Vice President of Operations for Weigel Broadcasting, said in a statement, and he makes a nice compliment about Jean and Melissa, and then goes on to say that plans are in the works for a replacement on the U, but no start date has been set. Details on the new morning program will be unveiled later this spring, according to the station's announcement on Thursday. In the interim, John Hanson, the show's social media director and on-air correspondent, will host You and Me with a mix of rotating co-hosts. Now, Mark sent this to me for a particular reason, so I responded to it. And here's what I did. This is the senior vice president, to Steve Farber. Hey Steve, just a crazy thought. I'm a published writer. Appeared with Melissa and Jean a few years ago promoting my book In Search of Sal, and that's true, I did back in 2000, maybe it was 2014, but I think it was 2015. Appeared on Rick Kogan's radio show. Rick is for those of you not from Chicago, is a Chicago Tribune columnist, kind of pretty well known, and has a radio show on WGN. Appeared on Rick Kogan's radio show last year promoting Deja Vu Italian Style, my last book. Produce a popular YouTube show, Lou's Boomer Humor. All right, well, whatever. My agent currently is peddling my latest work, The Greatest Escape in New York City. That too is true. And then I put down, I can host a show. Best, Lou Macaluso. All right, now, as you probably figured, I haven't heard from them. It's only been a few days, but, let's be honest, probably they're going to hire some good-looking people, men and or women, of more of a middle age than my 60-plus years, and not the graying, thin hair and what have you. But that'll be their loss. But anyway, it got me to thinking about something else. Most of my viewers, now a lot of my viewers are not baby boomers, but most of my viewers are baby boomers, which means that they're either retired or they're getting close to retirement. And they want to think of things to do. I'm kind of an expert, I have to say. One of the things that I do is I talk about retiring with some type of success, because some people just don't. They can't get used to it. And if you want to do or want to be engaged in some kind of activity or job, part-time jobs, can really keep you busy, keep you active, and tap that knowledge and those skills that you still have. I did some research, and here are some of the top baby boomer part-time jobs that are available, whether you're retiring or close to retirement, whatever it might be. And this is from Bankrate Jobs for Retirees. That was on that's their website. One thing is consult or freelance. Another is you can do the same job, only less. In other words, if you really love your job, that's cool. But maybe you can ask them if you can do it on a part-time basis or do it somewhere else on a part-time basis. Here's an interesting one I thought. Research for businesses or universities. Man, some of you people are smart people and so forth. You want to do more of a sit-down thing. They need these types of people. Go to the government. Excuse me. There are all kinds of government jobs available, and particularly they like having retirees and baby boomers because they are the most reliable. Show your team spirit. By that they mean if you have a sports team, particularly in your area that you really like supporting, this might be the time when you can get maybe a part-time job there. I have some friends who are loyal Cub fans, and they've gotten jobs as security personnel, ushers, concession workers. Some are even in the front office, and they love it. They get to be close to the team, and at the same time, they can, use some of their skills. Customer service, not something I would choose, but, if you like answering phones and so forth. Tutoring can help kids if you, pass on some knowledge. If you're a former teacher, it's a good job. Also, I have some friends who are substitute teachers. Or start your own business, and that's kind of like what I did, okay? Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but here's an interesting thing. I also did some counter research. I mean, those are the things that retirees can be doing, but I also did some research on what retirees are actually doing, and it's a little bit depressing. Okay, what do you think most retirees are doing? You may have guessed this. Believe it or not, many of them, one of the top jobs is being a greeter at places like Walmart. Now, I'm not saying that's a terrible job, that's a bad job or anything, but it doesn't really look like you're really stretching yourself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and here's the ironic thing. They actually have training, a training workshop for this, because oh hell, you would hate to have somebody come in and you say, hey, thank you for oh jeez, sorry, welcome to Kmart, Walmart, whatever it is, okay? I don't know, that just kind of offends me a little bit. And the number 2 job, all right, here's another thing that kind of depresses me. The number 2 job, bagger at a grocery store. I guess this is a real meat grinder too, because you put those eggs and chips on the bottom of the bag, and then put the cans on there, man, you're out of there like a fat kid in dodgeball. But I'm telling you, it's kind of depressing. Now, what I'm getting at is this. Now, I don't want to blow my own horn here, but when I left teaching, I taught high school English for 33 years, and I loved it. But when it's time to go, it was time to go. And I said, what are some things I've always wanted to do? And that was like 6-7 years ago. And since that time, I've published 4 books, 5th one on the way if my agent can find a publisher out in New York. And I also do some motivational speaking. But here's the thing, you don't have to do anything like that, but think about things you always wanted to do and always have goals. See, this is what I get, because even though I've done those things, I still have more goals, okay? Now I'm going to share something with you and risk making an ass out of myself as if I haven't the last 8 shows, but here's something. My whole life I always wanted to be an actor, you know what I mean? I don't want to go through all that stuff now, in terms of, going to classes and all that. So I kind of asked my friends, if there were a movie made, who could you see me playing, okay? And the answer that came up was, again, rather depressing and kind of angered me, but I'll share it with you because what the hell, that's what it's all about. They said, if Hollywood ever wanted to do the Walter Brennan story, Lou, here's your chance, Now, no doubt, I could probably do Walter Brennan, especially at his in his later years, if some of you know who Walter Brennan is. But, you know, Walter Brennan always played an old guy, all right? I don't think he ever played, well, I'm sure he did play a young guy in some films, but, you know, all the films I ever saw, always played an old guy. Now, I know I'm old, but I hate to admit it, and I really don't want to, you know, play that. I'll play an older guy, but not a guy who's known for being old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to share with you my ultimate dream. You see, as a kid, I hope this doesn't burn too much in terms of his face, but yeah, I think we can see it. I always liked the 50s, as you know, that's, you know, my thing, but Buddy Holly was an idol of mine, you know, and I always wanted to play Buddy Holly, okay? The imitator played Buddy Holly. Now, that ship has long passed for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Buddy Holly story has already been done by Gary Busey, or Bussey, whatever the hell you call him. Frankly, I thought it stunk. Well, I thought the movie was good. I didn't think he was that good of a Buddy Holly. Shit, I could do better. But anyway, I always wanted to do that. So it's, you know, the ship is gone for that reason. The other thing is, you know, as most of you know, Buddy Holly died rather young. He was in, you know, his early 20s when he died. And we talked about this on one of the other shows, that there was the very tragic accident in February 2nd of 1959. Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the guy known as the Big Bopper were on tour, and I think it was Crystal Lake, Iowa. Anyway, there was a big snowstorm. Their tour bus had, it didn't break down, but the heating system broke down. So Buddy Holly chartered a small plane to take them, but the plane only took 3 people. Now, as the story goes, and Waylon Jennings, when he was alive, did corroborate the story. Waylon Jennings was a guitarist in the band, and he had to flip a coin with either it was Buddy Holly or Richie Valens, depends on which movie you watched. Anyway, and you know, one of them would have to ride on the bus, you know, without the heating, and the other one would be in the plane. Well, Buddy, ironically, won the toss and ended up going in the plane. And as it turned out, of course, the plane crashed and they all tragically died. Anyway, I thought to myself, you know what? What if they did a movie, okay? And they called the movie, What If Buddy Took the Bus, okay? Someone would have to play Buddy Holly as he would appear today. Now, I don't know who they'd choose, okay? I don't know who the best actor would be. But all I can say is, if I could choose the best actor, I know who I'd choose, okay? Oh, well, the little things you say and do make me feel that... Shut up, Addie, it's not funny. Say you do, rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know I got